Welcome, welcome. We have a great expert that we're going to be interviewing in just a moment. But what I want to do to kick this off is to say a little bit about why we do this. Choosing Vibrancy is my company, my brand, and that to me means striving for balance in 5 key areas: healthy body, healthy mind, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. All of those are super important. And this month, the focus is on healthy body. And today we have an expert, as I said, in the field. She's going to educate us. I know she's going to inspire us and give us some simple action steps about how we can create more balance in our lives. So with that, I'm going to, with pleasure, introduce Evie Flemming, and your company is called Tree Evolution, which I think is a very cool name. And Evie is I don't know if if it's 50-50, it doesn't really matter. You're an expert in the field of yoga, teaching yoga, and then reflexology. I know that you're very much have a lot of roots, gotcha, in wellness, because you also make jewelry that has a good energy to it. So you do a lot of great things. And I think that's fabulous. So what I'd like for you to start with is, this is kind of a no-brainer of a question with all your experience of how important it is to invest every day, I would say, in having a healthy body.
Well, the reason why is because if you have to think about your body like it is its own little organic machine. And if you're not providing that machine with good resources, good nutrients, and you're working, like you think if you were in a factory and a machine is working, they give it oil, they move it like it's moving every day, they're adding things to it and they're taking care of it, which is what we talk about self-care. There's a lot of care and maintenance that goes into that. They're doing QC times, they're having people come in and check it out. And so we want to do the same thing with our body, because if we're in for the long journey, then we have to keep having those low maintenance checks. And then we have to also maintain what we have. And so in some ways, the use it or lose it does work in health, because if you don't use something, you don't keep moving your body, you'll lose your flexibility. If you don't eat right, then now your digestive system is off, and they're all intertwined together. And so maintaining your health is self-love. Right? It's like you loving yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so QC, I just figured it out. Quality
control.
Control. Okay, I was like QC. I'm supposed to know that.
Yes, that's my lab background coming in, because with everything you check it, make sure it's right before it goes out the door.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Same thing with our body.
Yeah. Okay, hang on one second. I'm going to pause. Right. So it's all about that daily pouring into ourselves, right? That makes a huge difference. Tell people about reflexology. I've been a massage therapist for over 30 years. And I took a little bit. I'm not by any means certified in reflexology. We had 3 hours in reflexology. And I'm sure you had gazillions of hours to have your certification. But explain a little bit about that and how, and this could go into tips. I've done a little bit of teaching people about being your own massage therapist. And so there's nothing, Evie's phenomenal. I've seen her many times. I'm seeing her next week for a session. Yay. So definitely there's points that we can work on ourselves. It's always better when you have an expert doing it. Mm-hmm. Tell us though a little bit about why reflexology. How is that such a great investment?
Well, reflexology, where it differs in being like, I love massage. I'm too. A good masseuse is good to help you relax your system. But you're thinking about reflexology is more like, this is a conversation more. So the practitioner is having a conversation with your body. So they're listening in for nuances and things that they feel and what you feel. It's like you connecting to the body, getting in the body, because what it's using is more Eastern medicine, which is meridian therapy, where you're following the body, and probably pressing on different organs, different meridians, and then trying to encourage a response in the body that's a healing response. So when I'm going over the feet, there are charts, many charts that you can see online, and it shows how they've imprinted the whole organ system of the body on the feet. And so in reflexology, we are creating alternating pressure in those areas, and then I'm looking for it. Like for instance, today I had a client, and along the ridge of your feet, like let's say this is my foot, and like I go along the ridge in this way here, my toes, and I went like this. This area right here is your ears and your eyes, right?
Right.
And so her eyes were really pronounced, and I said, "You've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings this week, right?" And she was like, "Yeah." I said, "Are you taking breaks?" Because your eyes are talking. They're saying, so
they're muscles.
We talked about some exercises and things that she could do for her eyes. And everyone knows the little point that, you press here in the middle of your thumb whenever you have a headache or anything. And the reason why it works,
but not everybody does know that. We know that, but that's a good tip right there. If you're having a headache, to hold pressure in that area.
Right in that little flesh area.
Right. Not too much that it makes it worse, but enough to get right. So enough to kind of, I tell my clients a good hurt, and you can literally hold it there until you feel some relief.
Right. And the reason you're doing it, like you're holding there, like the thumb is on this side and the index fingers on that side, and you're pressing them together on that side and you're breathing, is because there are meridians and nerve endings that come right here that actually run up your arm and into your face and your head. And that's where the tension is in your head. So you're like trying to signal to the body to relax. Yeah.
The Chinese are amazing because they mapped all this out, like a century or centuries ago, a long time ago, right?
Yes.
Western medicine is a baby. It's in its infancy in comparison. Okay, so we love stories. So tell us a story about someone that's been a client, could have been a regular client or a one-time client, that you feel like through the arts that you offer, how have you helped someone? I'm sure many people, but one story maybe of someone who shifted in their body, the health of their body, due to either reflexology or yoga.
Well, the one thing that I think the most that has been loud lately with a lot of my clients has been a little bit of neuropathy in their feet. And so that seems to be the biggest clear, like instantaneous response and relief, because of the alternating pressure on the feet. And then I told you, I don't know if people can see it, but then I have this little sound chair that I use. And so within the sound therapy, because the neuropathy is the nerve endings, just firing a little bit. So when I have had clients that they come and they just feel like they can't even walk, they can't even feel their feet. They're like, it's so much intense pain, it's not feeling the feet. And after we have done a session, then they are like, wow, I can actually feel my toes, the sensation has calmed down. And then over time, they've noticed that it's carried into them going home too, like after they've done sessions. So my thing is, I want to work with you for an hour, but I want to make sure the other 24, you are still maintaining and integrating what we've done. So that has been the biggest joy, because I've added in some other little things, and to see a person's face after a session when they're just like, they come in like this and then they're just like, oh, is it over? No, that, I got so relaxed. So
it's an out of body experience when you have somebody that is as talented, as gifted as you are. It's, it's an out of body experience, and we need to get out. We're talking about healthy body. Sometimes we have to get out of our body, out of our, to calm our mind down, right? Just shut it down. And it's really, I think it's not really out of our body. It's about really being in our body. It's really more out of our mind, but that doesn't sound good, out of our mind.
Well, it's like, it's the thing of, do you remember, I always remember, I'm such a movie person, but you remember there's a movie where about the samurai and the guy says too many minds. You have to go no mind. Like you're trying to get to a no mind state. And that actually is where, when I talk about yoga with my clients, that's what it's doing. And all of those asanas and everything those poses are trying to loosen the body enough so that when you get to the final relaxation, the mind goes and you can actually meditate and relax and have a clear thought. Like that is the ultimate intention, the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. So I'm going to post some of your social media platforms, because you've been very generous. You're a great teacher and you've been very generous about giving tips. So, but give us a tip. I'll make sure that people know how they can tune in to your different pages and follow you so that they can, get some ongoing, classes or little mini classes and so forth. But give us one tip.
One tip, I guess, one good tip is I kind of posted it this morning too, is like to start your day with something. Like I said, a good sun salutation is good to start in the morning because it goes through the whole movement of the body. And therefore you're moving spine, hips, legs, and it is very meditative because if you are quiet and you're breathing through the poses, it can be a good reset for the morning. That is one thing I offer. And then as far as reflexology goes, my good tip for that is wear some good shoes.
Yeah, right. I know. Get out of those crazy heels, right?
Yes.
Well, and and I'll add to that too. It's hard for me when I hear the word neuropathy, it's hard for me not to say that for anybody that has any kind of neuropathy, that they really want to look into the magnetic insoles that my company has. And there've been, I've got a YouTube video on my website about a Dr. Michael Weintraub, who did this very, extensive study with people with serious diabetic neuropathy. It's so simple. It's so simple to put magnets, but they increase, what you were talking about, you've got them for an hour. And that was my experience as a massage therapist. Then you send people out in the world. And so they go back to their lives. Nobody can live in our offices, right?
Yes.
So we got to take some practices, some self-care, and magnets are a simple thing. You can carry them with you and they wake up the body. So it's amazing to get treatment. And then it's amazing to have ongoing support too. So talk to me about magnets.
Well, that's why I'm glad I know you, because now I have a good resource for them for the magnets and stuff, because I have gotten some of your magnets too, and they are wonderful. I love them. And when I can, I'll incorporate my little roller into my practice. Right. So I highly encourage people to look into your magnets as well.
Yeah, it's great to work synergistically. I love talking to other health wellness practitioners because it's never one thing, it's not one thing that gets us there to health. It's
lots of pieces in the pie, right?
And you know what? You can never do too much. Yeah. It's good to have the treatments and go and do that regularly, but we can't live in someone's office. So it's good to have the daily self-care and mix it all up. So anyhow, I really appreciate how much you give back to the community, and I'm excited to be able to post your different platforms so that people you really do want to follow this woman. Let me tell you, she has great knowledge and shares it very generously. So thank you, Evie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, and I'm glad that we have gotten to know each other. So
yes.
Yes.
Awesome.